Welcome, yogis. Today's class is a backbend class, so we'll be doing a lot of heart opening. We'll be doing things to work up to Dhanurasana or dancer's pose. We'll do a few variations of that. So for class, you will need a strap. If you don't have a yoga strap, no problem. You can just grab something strap-like. Necktie does just fine, or anything else you might have laying around at home. So outside of that, let's get going. All right, friends, so our strap we're not going to be using towards the until the end, so you can just go ahead and put that off to the side for now. And then we're going to start today in a mountain pose. Come on up onto both feet, balancing equally. Close your eyes. And then let's make this a little bit more active by spiraling the palms to face forward. As you begin, you might just rock a little bit side to side, rock a little bit forward and backwards. Just feel around the weight of your body shifting around on the surface of your foot. Looking for a place that feels even, where you're using the entire surface of your foot, pressing down into the ground. And then from there, feel your kneecaps lift as you energize your legs. Add a little internal rotation in the thighs. And then notice if that work has caused your back to bend, right? If so, we'll draw the frontal hip bones up while keeping the internal rotation. With the palms spinning forward, you'll feel some engagement in your back body. But again, we're looking more for neutral. So try to avoid the big squeeze of the invisible pencil between your shoulder blades. Instead, stay neutral, just letting the rotation of the arms do the work. Take some deep breaths. On your inhales, pull your breath from the crown of your head down to the root. On the exhales, rebound length into the spine. Keep working with this rhythm. Inhales to ground. And exhales to lengthen. Acknowledge if the length comes with a tipping of the head, and instead try to keep the eyes level with the earth. Just lengthen through center. A few more cycles of breath. And then feel where you're working, where you're gripping. See if there's a way you can invite in some ease within the work. It's possible to have intention, to put effort into things, to do things with purpose, without being rigid, without feeling overworked, burnt out. On your next breath in, let's sweep the arms to the sky, blink your eyes open. Breath out, simply bring the hands down to heart center. Now let's let the arms once again come by the sides. We'll start by softening the knees. Round the body forward. Let the head drop. Feel the rounding in the spine and then maybe a little bounce in the knees. On a breath in, open your chest. Take this kind of field goal arm, sort of like you're holding the world in your hands. Lift the heart. And then exhale again, round down. Inhale to open. And exhales to round. As you open, you can keep a little bend in the knees, kind of arc the spine. Again, exhale, circle down, hang. 2 more like that. Inhale to open. And round. Last time, lift and open. And round. Let the body hang a little deeper in the fold. You can keep your knees soft here. Allow the body to dangle. And then we'll breathe in, flat back, hands to shins. Breathe out, hinge and fold. Rise to stand, sweep your arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. Take your left arm by your side, right arm to the sky. Lengthen on breath in, side bend to the left. Inhale back to center, swap out the arms. Lengthen upwards and side bend. Come back to center, both arms to sky. Exhale, fold forward over your legs. Half lift, breathe in. Ground your palms, keep your collarbones broad and bend your knees to get those hands on the earth. Keep the collarbones nice and open as you step back, plank pose. Press your frontal hip bones forward. Rebound the ribs up, but then try to settle the shoulder blades into an even position. So that means we're not totally rounded, we're not totally sinking, but neutral. Take a full breath in. Exhale, lower all the way down to your belly. Point your toes. Connect your toenails with the earth, and then inhale, lift up for cobra. Now keep this cobra low. Wrap your elbows in and squeeze your back body. And exhale, lower down. Again, inhale, lift up. And exhale to lower. Now this time, take your tented fingers off the mat, wide, and then pluck the elbows up so they're over your wrists. Let your head sink down. As you inhale, roll from your back body. We're going to lift up. So come through a rounded spine, chin to chest. Then as you find the lift, tuck your elbows in, roll the spine back down to the earth. Again, inflate, elbows forward, lead from a rounded back. Hug the elbows in and melt down. One more time, inhale, roll up. And exhale, melt it down. Slide your hands back by the shoulders, press back, child's pose. Keep your arms active by reaching them forward and crawling your fingertips forward. Couple big breaths. Pull yourself up to a tabletop position. Now I'll play with cat-cows, but just a slightly different variation. Here, we're going to roll from the tailbone first. So you're keeping your upper body as still as you can. As you stick your butt out, start to work towards the cow pose. So I'm toned in the belly. As I feel the ripple coming towards the mid-back, upper back, shoulders, I shift towards that full expression. Now again, starting from the tailbone, tuck under. Feel as that ripple shifts to the mid-back, upper back, and round. Again, tailbone first, stick the butt out. Feel the wave coming all the way up the spine to the base of the neck. Lift the skull. And again, tuck the tailbone first, navel up. Round your way to the cat back. Now this time we'll start from the head. Lift first, looking forward with your eyeballs. Feel the head lift. This is really the trickiest part in my opinion. So you're going to try to sink through the upper spine first. Keep the tailbone tucked. Feel that coming into the mid-back, low back, full cow pose. Now again, with the chin first, tuck down. Feel the rounding through the upper spine, mid-spine, low spine. Start with the eyes, look up, lift the head, upper back, mid-back, low back, tailbone. Tuck the chin, round from the upper spine, and wave it to tailbone. Take one more, starting with the head, and have patience with yourself, right? This work is not easy. We're isolating the movement of the spine when it likes to work together. And especially that upper back can get real sticky. So if this is feeling difficult, right, just work with it. Chin to chest, Round your way to the tailbone. All right. Tuck your toes, lift up and back, downward facing dog. On a breath in, right away, rise to tiptoes. Take that same roll forward. Tuck the tailbone around the spine to plank. And lower all the way down to your belly. Point your toes, breathe in, cobra, lift the heart. And breathe out, lower down. Press back through child's pose. Just a pit stop. And tuck your toes, come right back to downward facing dog. Settle into your breath. On an inhale, send your right leg up and back behind you, 3-leg dog. Bend your knee, open your hip, and then notice if your right armpit is lifted. Square your chest down while staying committed to the lift and opening of your hip. Draw a circle or two in each direction. Step your right foot to the top of the mat, and then a big step forward to fold. Half lift, inhale. Bow forward and fold. Rise up, extend your arms overhead. And hands to heart, exhale. Take a breath in, sweep high. Breath out, fold forward, keep your weight towards your toes. Halfway lift. Ground the palms, step back, plank pose. Now this time it's chaturanga. Pull your heart through for upward facing dog. And high and back with the hips, downward facing dog. 3 breaths. On an inhale, left leg flies up and back behind. Bend your knee, and then again be slow as you open your hip to keep the left armpit squared towards the ground. Peel things open as much as your body will allow. And then it's a circle or two in each direction. Circle out the hip. Explore the full range of motion in the ball and socket joint. Now take knee to nose. Step your foot forward. A big step forward to the top of the mat. Flat back. And fold. Rise to stand. Extend your arms. And float your hands down to your heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bow forward. Half lift. Ground your palms, step back, plank pose. And again, it's chaturanga. Pull your heart through, upward facing dog. And pike the hips back, downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Rise up to your tiptoes. Roll your spine forward to plank. And again, lower all the way down to your belly. All right, now this time, we'll reach the arms forward. Keep your toenails grounded as you engage your legs. Press down to the tops of your feet. On a breath in, just the upper body comes up. Inhale, lift the arms, lift the chest. Linger, take a breath. Exhale, lower. Twice more like that. Inhale, reach forward and lift. Linger. Last breath in. Exhale, lower. One more time. Keep those legs engaged. Squeeze your glutes. Inhale, reach forward and up. Linger for a breath. Exhale, lower down. Slide your hands back. Press back through a brief child's pose. And then right away, it's up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale, sweep your right leg up and back. Bend your knee, open hip. Now imagine you had a block between your heel and your glute. Squeeze in and try not to lose the invisible block. Continue to work the squaring down of your chest while rolling the hip open. And take your right knee to your nose. Round your back to create space and step your foot forward. Rise up, crescent lunge. So in this posture, we have a little bend in the back knee. And then you'll just make sure that each foot is in its own lane. Hug your legs in towards midline. That squeezing of the inner thighs will help you organically square your hips. Take an inhale, reach through the fingers. Exhale, twist to the right with open arms. Left arm forward, right arm back. Inhale, right back to square. Exhale to the right, twist, same direction. Inhale, back to square. Last time, twist to the right. Inhale, both arms up. Take your hands down to the mat. Step back, plank pose. Chaturanga, through upward face. And back, downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Inhale, left leg to sky. Bend your knee, open your hip. Keep the left armpit square. And then again, imagine the block between heel and glute. Squeeze in. Yawn the left hip open. Last few moments. Take knee to nose. Step your foot to the top of the mat and rise up, crescent lunge. Once again, you're looking for stability by making sure you're giving yourself the benefit of hips width distance feet. Engage your inner thighs. Feel how that pulls your left hip back and your right hip forward. It's a breath in without lifting out of the depth of your legs. Just lengthen the side waist. And then exhale, twist to the left. Left arm back, right arm forward. Inhale, arms up. Exhale to the left. Inhale, arms up. Last time, open twist. Inhale, arms high. Take your hands down to the mat. Step back, plank pose. Chaturanga. Pull through, upward facing dog. And pike it back, downward facing dog. 3 breaths. All right, breathe in. Pull forward to plank pose. Drop your heels to the left. Reach your right arm high to the sky for side plank. Now if you can, stack your right foot on top of your left foot. Keep your legs very strong and active. Now we'll work a little balance by bringing the right foot slightly in front and then slightly behind. Just keep moving, tapping forward and backwards. Forward and backwards. 2 more and back. Last one and back. Take it back to plank pose. Pike the hips, downward facing dog. Now of course at any time if you need to drop to your knees to take a child's pose, by all means. Just a few breaths here to reset. Shake the head a little bit, yes and no. Prove to yourself that your neck is relaxed, even though your arms are working. All right. Breathe in, pull forward, plank pose. Heels drop to the right, left arm to the sky. And again, if you can, stack your feet. All right, tap your left foot slightly in front and slightly behind. In front and behind. Forward and back. Twice more. And back. Last one. Behind. Square it down. Plank pose. Pike the hips. Down dog. 3 breaths. All right, breathe in. Sweep your right leg up and back behind you. Bend your knee and open hip. Now we're going to take this into a flip dog, but very slow motion. As your right foot reaches behind, you're extending it as high towards your left hand as you can. Let your left foot swivel. The right hand will come to tented fingers. Keep reaching. The right hand will start to lift. Keep reaching, 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 reaching. As your right toe grounds, press to the ball of your foot. Lift your hips and drop your head. Reach your top arm towards the front of your mat. Now we're going to take this to a low lunge, just as slowly. Pluck your right foot off the floor as you start to spiral. Reach your top arm forward. Don't lose that. Guide your right knee towards your chest. Keep reaching, 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 and step your foot. Lower your back knee down. Reach your arms up and find your low lunge. For today, I do want you to try getting a little bit deeper here. So if your front knee goes slightly beyond the ankle, don't worry about that. Do try to pull your right heel towards the back of your mat and feel your right hamstring engage as you do that. We do want to be careful of going so deep that we're unable to rein in the navel, a little lift of the front of the pelvis. So you're just trying to feel around in your back body. Make sure that you're not putting all of the back bend in the low spine. All right, just a few more breaths. Now we're going to try to stay just as low in the hips. Tuck your back toes under and lift your back knee off the mat. Extend strong through your back leg. Now this is going from lunge to a twisted hand to foot pose. I'll show you what it looks like. You have the option of taking the full posture or just grabbing your knee. It starts with a shift onto the right foot, so either right hand to knee or grab the razor's edge of your left foot and open. If you haven't done it yet, give it a shot. Swift movement, straight up into it, kick the foot forward, and reach your left arm towards the back of the mat. Stay tall on your standing leg and extend through the crown of your head. Remember the mountain pose from the beginning. All right, slowly, crescent lunge. Bring your left leg back, ground through the toes, and reach the arms up. Include a little bend in the back knee again, and then it's an inhale. Lift up and start to arc into back bend. Exhales help you to stabilize. Work with that again. Inhale. Reach and arc back. Exhales to stabilize. Inhale, one more. Reach and arc. Exhale to stay. Linger a couple breaths. Squeeze your belly. Rise up. Bring your hands back down to frame your front foot. Step back, plank pose. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. To downward facing dog. Again, it's either dog or child's pose. Find your place where you can come back to breath, come back to center. Okay, if you've lowered down, start to bring yourself back up to dog. So again, we're using the stability of that side plank work. Let's inhale, lift the left leg up and back behind, bend the knee, open hip. Now take this transition really slow, like you're moving through water. Reach your left toes over towards the right wrist. Allow your right foot to spiral until it gets flat. Left fingertips, eventually the left hand lifts. Keep reaching, 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 reaching until it grounds. Lift the hips up. Reach your top arm forward and breathe. Now just a slow motion. Turn the gaze towards the mat. Reach your left arm towards the top of the mat as your left foot plucks off the floor. Guide your knee towards your chest. Keep reaching forward with your knee. Forward, forward, forward with the foot, and step. Lower your back knee down. Lift up for low lunge, arms to sky. So again, explore getting deep in your front knee, even if that means the knee goes beyond the heel. Ensure that your belly is plucking in. And if your back knee is bothersome at all, you can press the top of your foot into the ground to lighten the weight. Notice if you're sinking in the posture. Maintain that hug towards midline. All right, now we'll try to keep the hips just as low. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, and extend strong through your back leg. All right, so we're amping up to that transition again. Bring your weight to your left foot, right knee to chest, and you're either holding the knee or reaching for the razor's edge of your right foot. Kick your right leg straight forward, reach your right arm towards the back of the mat, and you can play with shifting your gaze sideways or even back past your right fingertips. Slowly, crescent lunge. Bring your right leg back, ground the toes, and reach your arms to the sky. So if we bend the back knee, that's going to free up some space in the low back, right? Sometimes what happens, if we straighten the leg, we end up locking out the low back and we're getting trapped. So if you bend the knee, we have more room to arc behind. Here we go. Focus on staying grounded in your front heel, right? Sometimes the instability comes because we shift the weight towards the foot, the toes, the ball of the foot. Stay anchored. Inhale, lift up, arc back, and exhale, stabilize. Inhale, reach and arc. Stabilize. One more like that, reach. Steady, take a few moments. Squeeze your belly, rise up. Take your hands down to the mat. Step back, plank pose, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. And downward facing dog. Lower your knees. Take a child's pose. Soften your effort. Notice the shift in the pace of your heart, the rhythm of your breath, the effects of the back bends. Great way to get some free energy. Right, we don't always have to reach for coffee or some kind of stimulant. Maybe all we need is a good back bend. All right, let's pull forward and come all the way down onto the belly. Now you can have your hands however you want them. I like to stack the palms and put my forehead down so it's neutral. If you're going to bring a cheek to floor, just be mindful how long you're on one side and switch. For now, again, all you're doing is softening. Feel how your breath moves, and with the feedback from the floor, you get this movement and a little massage of the muscles in your back body. All right, now, all you're going to do is work with your breath. On an inhale, expand your breath through your belly. Fill up, push into the earth. Exhale, empty. Squeeze to empty, engage the belly, feel the navel lift. And then again, inhale, expand. Press your belly into the mat. Exhale, empty completely. Push the air out. Squeeze, 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 engage, lift the navel. Again, inhale, expand and open. Push your belly into the floor strongly. Exhale, empty. Squeeze the abdomen, draw in. Couple more. Push your belly into the ground. Exhale. Squeeze the abdomen. One more, big breath. And empty. Return to normal breath. If you haven't yet switched your head, if you're working with one cheek, then do that now. A few more moments to just settle. Rein the breath in. Start to slide the hands under the shoulders. Press all the way back through child's pose. Tuck your toes and lift back to downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg high to sky. Guide your right knee towards your right shoulder, and then step your foot outside your hand. Lower your back knee for lizard. Now take the left hand a little bit wider on the mat. We're going to take the right hand behind the head so you're sort of cupping the base of your skull. Thumb towards outside, fingers. Here, I'll just show you. So you'll grab a hold here. Once you get there, your bicep is going to wrap in towards your cheek. And now we're working into a back bend. So the tricky part here is to resist looking back. It's not a twist. We want to keep this chain of chin and sternum in one line so the spine is actually neutral. So once you've got this elbow wrapped in, the bicep kissing the cheek, lean back into your head. And again, notice if you've started to look to the right, come back straight. Lean backwards. If you feel like you have more room to go, the left hand can just keep moving wider. Open up. Couple more breaths. All right, let's start to come a little bit more neutral. So if your left arm is moved very wide, you can rein it in. Right hand's going to come to the right thigh, and now we will take the twist. Spiral and look towards the back of the mat. If you have the room for it, we're going to bend the left knee, reach back with your right hand to grab your foot, and draw your heel in for quad stretch. Stay in a place of significant sensation. Couple more breaths. Gently release your foot. Take your hands back to square. We'll lift the back knee, step the right foot back, and come back to down dog. And if you'd like to pedal the legs out, it could feel nice to just shift the low back a little bit. All right. For the other side, inhale, left leg high up and back. Take your knee towards your left shoulder. Step your foot wide and lower your back knee down. So we start with that back bend. Take your right hand wide, maybe slightly off the mat. The left hand comes to the back of the head, cupping the base of the skull. Wrap your left elbow in, bicep to cheek, and then again be weary of a twist. Keep your chin and sternum in the same plane. Lean backwards to back bend. If you have farther to go, the right hand can keep moving wider as you lean back. Arc the spine. Enjoy this place, right? Maybe close the eyes. Take some nice smooth breaths. Last few moments. Now take it back, more square. The right hand can stay slightly wide. Left hand to knee, and you'll start your twist. And if you would like it, you're going to bend the right knee. Reach back with your left hand for your foot. Draw the heel to your glute for the quad stretch. And then again, it's easy to kind of get relaxed here. So try to be committed to significant sensation through the right quad. Last few breaths. Slowly release. Take your hands back to square. Tuck your back toes, lift their knee, and step it back, downward facing dog. Start to come up to high tip toes. Walk your feet forward towards the top of your mat. And then it's an inhale, flat back. Exhale, bow forward. Rise up to stand. Sweep your arms high. And hands to heart center. Okay, so take a dancer on each side. It's a nice, simple entry. Let's bring the weight to the left foot. Spread your toes. Take up as much surface area as you can. Bend your right knee. And then if you're able to, grab the inner arch of your foot. It's not wrong to do the outer edge. It's just going to be a better, more open position of the shoulder if you can take it with your thumb up. Wrap your knee in towards the opposite knee so we aren't splaying out. Hug to midline. Reach your left arm forward and up. And then start by keeping your chest lifted. Simply extend the right leg back and see how high you can get it without diving forward. Kick into the hand, and then with your right hand, pull upwards. Now, if you want to lean forward, you're free to tip. Continue to kick up, pull up. Notice if you're prioritizing height, we don't want the right hip to lift. So you're recommitting to squaring your right hip towards the floor. A little bend in the standing leg can help catch wobbles, give you a little bit more space to play with. And then as you're ready, just come on out, 2 feet to the earth. All right, let's try the other side. Spread your toes, bring your weight into the right foot. Bend your left knee, and if you're able to, grab the inner arch of your foot. Reach your right arm forward and up. Keep the chest lifted as you start by kicking the right foot into the hand. Lift the thigh bone, see how high you can get on your own there. And then if you want to tip forward, start to hinge at the hip. Continue squaring your left hip towards the ground. Notice if the ego is taking over. Sometimes the ego wants us to get really bendy, really big, but we're going to be better served if we live in that space that we are. Stay where you are. Stay in the present. And as you're ready, slowly come out, 2 feet to the earth. All right, roll the shoulders around a little bit. A few rotations forward and backwards. Now we'll take big sweeps of the arms. Work the other direction. All right. Now I'd like you to find some wall space. If you don't have wall space, you can just do a dolphin on your mat. Otherwise, we're going to take dolphin on the wall. So forearms come to the wall. You can keep them parallel or bring them together into that triangle shape. Either is fine. Walk your hips back, and you'll let your arms slide down the wall as much as needed so that your elbows are in line with your hips. I have this chair rail here, so I'm going to stop here. But if you can go further, feel free. Let your head now sink between your arms. So we're getting a bit melty here. Now you may notice, due to tightness in the shoulders, that your hands may be sliding in. No problem. We do want to be careful, however, to keep the elbows at shoulder distance apart. Now we'll work this a little bit. Rein in the rib cage, engage around the upper back, and then soften and melt. Again, a little bit of rounding, draw the belly in, and melt. One more time, engage, round, and melt. Hang out here and breathe a bit. Now you can do this also like on a countertop, tabletop, right? Just have your elbows on the table. You could also do this in a kneeling position with your elbows on blocks, 2 blocks on the high height, so the head can fall between. All right, start to rise back up and out of this. Press yourself away from the wall. Give those shoulders a little shimmy. All right, it's strap time. So go ahead and find your strap. If you have a yoga strap that has the D-ring, we're going to make a little loop, and luckily mine has that in there already. But let's show you how this goes. If you don't have a D-ring strap, no problem. I can show you how to do that in a moment. If you do, so the D-ring works right with these 2 rings. The end of the strap is going to go between the 2 rings. And then we'll take the strap up and over that outer ring and underneath the inner ring. That should create some tension. And then for our purposes today, we want the loop really little. Leave it big enough because we're going to put the foot through it. So we'll start with the right leg. Again, the foot's going all the way through, and then you could tighten up a little bit so it's kind of like an anklet. The loose part of the strap is going between the big toes, so it's like a sandal. All right, if you don't have this set up, you can just make a loop with the strap. So instead, both ends come outside, and you can hold on to the long ends. All right, my friends. Once you've got your setup, you'll take the strap, find weight on your left foot, bend your right knee, and then we're going to just drape the excess strap over the right shoulder. Clearly the right knee is bent. So this is going into a overhead grip in the dancer. We'll start in a similar way. Taking the strap in the right hand, the right arm is going up as you kick back. Try not to lean forward. Keep the chest lifted for this one. Now, both hands can come to the strap. We're going to walk the hands down the strap as much as the body will allow. And then the idea is to kick back and up through the right foot and toes. Let that be what's opening your heart and pulling your arms back in space. Breathe here. Find easy, steady balance. Couple more breaths. Slowly release the slack in your hands. Let your right foot come down, and we're just going to chill for a minute. Feel free to close your eyes. Feel steady weight on each foot, arms relaxed and dangled. All right, Let's switch sides. So release the slack of the D-ring. Switch to the opposite foot. Weave your excess strap between the toes. Make a little sandal. And then as you're ready, spread your right toes, ground down. As you bend your left knee, the left strap comes up and over the left shoulder. Find something to look at to steady the balance. And then as you're ready to come into it, extend your left arm up. Start to lift the left leg and bring 2 hands to the strap. Walk your hands down the strap as much as you can to start. Then kick your back leg back and up. There might be a little tipping forward, but you're really trying to keep your heart lifted, forward facing in the dancer. Kick back, let that open the chest, send the arms back in space. Continue to wrap your elbows in, right? We don't want to splay wide. Keep the elbows and the biceps hugging towards the ears. Last couple breaths. Slowly come on out. Release the strap. 2 feet to the floor. And just relax for a minute. Close the eyes. Allow the arms to dangle. Let's start to bend the knees. Take your hands to the tops of the knees with your arms straight and locked out, just to support the back. And then what I like to do here is add a little bit of a swivel. Eventually draping body down, deeper and deeper towards a fold, but with significant bend in the knees so the belly can rest on your thighs. While you're down here, if your ankle is still looped, go ahead and release the strap, and you can just ditch that strap off to the side. Allow your head and neck to be free. A little yes and no with the head. And take your hands to the mat. Simply step back to a tabletop. All right, now here, thinking about cat-cow, but not as dramatic. So all you're doing is just rocking the pelvis forward and back. Just little tiny shifts. See how that feels. You might also enjoy some circles in the chest, circling through the rib cage. And then we'll take it back to child's pose. Let your arms drape back behind you, forehead down towards the earth. Let's bring the arms forward. Pull forward, and we're going to come into a dolphin pose. So similar to what we did on the wall, if your hands seem to slide in, no worries. Just do keep the elbows in line with the shoulders. Tuck your toes, take a walk forward, toes towards the elbows as much as you can while keeping your head lifted off the mat. Send your right leg up to the sky. Come high onto the tiptoes of your left foot and lean into the arms. Now you might just stay here, hold the pose. It's a lot of work. If you have the ability to lean, you might find a little bit of takeoff into your pincha. The idea is not to jump, but to lean and float into it. Stay with it for 3, for 2, and 1. Lower your feet, drop your knees, child's pose. All right, guys, one more side like that, and we're taking it down. Forearms to mat. Lift up into your dolphin and tiptoe the feet as far forward as you can. Send your left leg up to the sky. Come onto the high tiptoes of the right foot and either stay here. Maybe you can lean and take a little flight. Stay with it for 3, for 2, and 1. Lower your toes, lower your knees. Child's pose. Bring yourself back up through table. From here, stack your joints. Take a breath in, reach your right arm up to the sky. Breath out, thread the needle. Right arm under left. Set your head and shoulder down. And let's wrap the left arm behind the back. If you'd like, extend your left leg back with your toes tucked to start. Press the top of your right foot into the earth for stability, and then you'll see about hovering your left foot. You might bend the left knee, reach back with your left hand, and take the back bend. Gently release out. Left hand in front of face. Unravel your right arm high. And come back to table. Other side. Left arm high, breathe in. Thread needle, weave your left arm through. Head and shoulder come down. And then again, the right arm will come behind the back. If you're going for it, extend your right leg back with your toes tucked. And then solidify your base. That's the back of the left hand and arm pressing down, and the top of your left foot. Hover your right leg. Maybe you bend the right knee. Reach back for your foot. And kick into the hand. Pull up. Slowly release. Right hand in front of the face. Left arm to sky. Breathe in. 2 hands to mat. Swing your legs out in front of you. All right, so we're going to come down onto our back. You might want your strap for one of the options of a twist, so you may just want to have that nearby. And then we'll come to lay down. Grab behind your thighs to make this transition easy. Roll your spine down to the earth. And then you could take some windshield wipes of the knees. You might like better hugging your knees into your chest and then taking a few rocks there. Keep a hold of your left knee. Kick your right leg straight in front of you. Single knee to chest. Expand your breath into your left thigh bone. All right, so now we've got some options. First off, take your left knee across your body and set up a twist. Lift your hips, send them to the left a bit so it's easier to stack one hip on top of the other. So this is a great place to stay. You could either take your right hand to the razor edge of your left foot and kick your left leg straight. You might also use your strap to make up the difference. Loop up your foot and then kick the leg. From there, you can also add the cattail, so either with the knee bent or the leg straight. Bend your right knee. With your left hand, reach down for your foot. And then you want to make sure your left hip is rolling down and away from your shoulder. Keep the length in your left side body. A few more easy, full breaths. All right, gently release what you have as you curl back into center. We'll switch sides, first evening out the hips. Take your right knee in and kick your left leg forward. Expand your breath into your right thigh bone. Take your twist by dragging your right knee across the body to the left. As you do that, lift your hips and send them right. And then you decide. You're either staying here with your right arm wide. You could either take the strap or simply your left hand to the razor edge of your right foot and kick the leg straight. And then if you want the cattail, bend your left knee, reach down with your right hand for your foot. Then you recommit to the shape. Right hip will draw down and away from your shoulder. Do your best to keep your right leg straight while your left knee is pulling further and further behind your body. A few more breaths. Slowly curl in. Release what you have as you come back to center. Square off your hips. And then we'll take both knees in. Grab for your feet for a happy baby. Focus on grounding your tailbone, finding a neutral spine, which means seeking just a little space under your low back. Pull your feet towards the ground and just a little bit of kick back into the hands. If your body wants to rock a little bit side to side, add some movement and be flexible in what you're doing. So that means if you want to release your feet and just hug the knees, or even take some circles with the knees, any final movements you need before we take it all the way down. Now as you get ready for your final resting posture, you might like feet together with knees wide. If you have blocks or pillows, blankets, you could put those underneath your thighs for support. If you don't have those things, you could take fists and then put that underneath your thigh right up at your ball and socket joint. That's also going to give you just that little bit of lift. If your body feels perfectly fine with your legs long, you could always take your traditional corpse pose here. Soften your face. Soften your jaw. Allow your body to rest. Shavasana. Feel free to stay as long as you like. If you're ready to get moving, start by moving fingers and toes and deepening your breath. Curl your knees in as you slowly roll to one side. Press up to an easy seat. With hands at heart center, I thank you so much for joining me for practice. With love, light, and gratitude, I bow to you. Namaste.